we doing, everybody? This is Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert, a NASCAR podcast. NASCAR would be heading out to the middle of the country for their second trip at the Kansas this year. Cup Series and Xfinity continue their playoffs as drivers on the bubble try to work their way out or crumble trying. ARCA Series is also in action in Kansas as they start to round out their season. Storylines for the weekend, starting with ARCA. 2 races to go left. Can Butterbean Queen close out their season with a championship? Or can Lavar Scott make up the point difference? Xfinity enters their second race of the round of 12 in their playoffs, with a non-playoff driver in Aric Almirola winning in Bristol. Will a playoff driver lock themselves into the round of 8 with a win in Kansas? Cup Series continues to heat up. Who will survive the playoff pressure? Interview with Xfinity playoff driver Sam Mayer. Fast Davey's bets. Yellow flag, green flag. Discussions with Dave. Predictions for Toledo and the Charlotte Roval. Plus so much more on this episode of Splash of Gas. As always, we are sponsored by Magical Travel with Dave, aka Disney Dave Weichert, my father. He will be able to help you with all your Disney and Universal vacation needs. He can be reached at DisneyDaveW@Verizon.net. If you are going to the Cranford JC's Oktoberfest event in Cranford this weekend, please check that out as Disney Dave is a premier sponsor for that event. Also, please like and follow all the Splash of Gas social medias for midweek and on-track updates. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are all Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert. Now for the ARCA Series recap from Kansas. ARCA will get the party going in Kansas Friday night. Brendan Butterbean Queen would be on the pole after being the fastest in qualifying. Gio Ruggiero would be second, making up the front row. Once the checkered flag would drop, Ruggiero would pull out to the front and lead, as Queen would follow. Gio would be strong for most of the race. A late restart would see Ruggiero and Queen on the front row. Queen would still be firing strong on the restarts and take the lead from Gio. But it wouldn't be over. The race would go into 2 overtimes. Each restart, Queen would get the jump, and he would go on to pick up his 8th ARCA win of the year as Butterbean climbs the fence in Kansas. Now for trivia question time. This episode's question is, who won the first Cup Series race ran on the Charlotte Roval in 2018? Answer coming at the end. Now for the Xfinity recap from Kansas. After qualifying, the Joe Gibbs Toyotas of Brandon Jones and Taylor Gray would be the fastest, with Jones on the pole. Gray would lead early, but be overtaken by Justin Allgaier laps later, and Allgaier would go on to win Stage 1. Stage 2 would see a yellow for Jeb Burton fly early. Justin Allgaier would battle with Brandon Jones on the restart, but Allgaier would prevail and put a gap on Jones. Allgaier would cruise to the Stage 2 win. Could he be caught? Jones and Zilich restart for the third and final stage. Connor Zilich gets the jump, but is passed by Brendan Jones for the lead on lap 138. 6 laps later, Jones pits from the lead. After a yellow on lap 155, the pack would restart with 37 laps to go. Brendan Jones from the second row would surge out to the front spot. Connor Zilich would try his best, but Brendan Jones locks himself into the round of 8 as he is victorious in Kansas on Saturday. Now for the Cup Series recap from Kansas. Cup Series continues their playoff battle in Kansas. Chase Briscoe is the fastest in the qualifying and sits on the pole. He would lead early but is passed by Denny Hamlin on lap 20. 1 yellow would fly in the first stage. Denny Hamlin goes on to win Stage 1. Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson restart for Stage 2. After a hard battle for position between Hamlin, Wallace, Elliott, Larson, and Christopher Bell, Denny prevails over them to win the second stage. Hamlin and Chase Elliott restart for the final stage in Kansas. 4 yellows would see the race get pushed into overtime. Bubba Wallace and Christopher Bell restart up front and battle hard. Behind them, John Hunter Nemechek and Zane Smith make contact, resulting in a scary crash, and Smith's car has all 4 tires on the wall. Crazy scene as he flips to a stop. This would bring out the red flag and push the race into a second overtime. Luckily, Zane was fine and gets out of the car. Wallace and Bell again restart. On the final lap, Hamlin will get underneath Bubba Wallace as the two move up the track. Bubba brushes the wall and loses his momentum. After starting 8th, Chase Elliott surges on the inside of Denny Hamlin. Elliott doesn't lift and makes contact with Denny. Chase Elliott wins an overtime thriller by a car length ahead of Denny Hamlin. This locks Chase into the round of 8 with the win. Quick look back at the predictions we made for Kansas. ARCA went with Gio Ruggiero. He finishes 2nd. Xfinity tapped Sheldon Creed. He crosses the start-finish line in the 5th position. Cup went with Tyler Reddick to win. He takes it home 7th after the checkered flag is waved in double overtime. Now for yellow flag, green flag. Green flag, ARCA, Butterbean Queen. He has gotten better throughout this season on his restarts. He will wrap up the 2025 ARCA season, ringing in the championship in Toledo. Xfinity, yellow flag, Harrison Burton has a P20 finish, which sees him as the lowest finishing playoff driver. Xfinity, green flag, Brandon Jones gets the win as Joe Gibbs' Xfinity sure looks strong. Yellow flag, Cup, 23-11. Driver and Bubba Wallace and owner and Denny Hamlin just could not play nice when going for the win in double overtime, and they let a Chevy win. Green flag, Cup, Rocket Man Chase restarts 8th in double overtime and goes on to get the win. Now for our exclusive Splash of Gas interview with Xfinity playoff driver Sam Mayer. Here's what Sam had to say going into Kansas. Next guest we bring on the Splash of Gas is driver of the 41 Ford for the Haas factory team, Sam Mayer. Thanks for joining the show, Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, of course. Before we get into this season, previous to this year, you were at JRM for a number of years before making the jump to Haas factory. How has that change been for you and working for Jason Trincher?
Yeah, it's been an amazing experience. You know, my Xfinity career has been definitely awesome so far. I'm really proud of the accomplishments that I've been able to make at Junior Motorsports, and then obviously now at Haas factory team as well. So we've been getting better each and every weekend. It's definitely challenging going to a new team, and that new team being brand new, and kind of everyone's just trying to figure out their balances for the first little bit of the year, and then we can start going to work. But yeah, I'm just really proud of what we've been able to accomplish each week. Obviously a new manufacturer for myself being over at Ford. And it's been an awesome experience with those guys as well. They've treated me great. So, yeah, just so much to be proud of this season. The transition obviously was definitely interesting for myself because it was the first time I've ever had to do that. But we made it through really well and started the year off strong, and we've just been kind of going on from there. So getting that win at Iowa was definitely really special, and hopefully you can cap it off with a championship at the end of the season.
Cool. Appreciate the honesty. Kind of led into my next question with being that Chevy for your whole career prior to this year. Was there any learning curve or changes compared to how Chevy does it to Ford?
Not necessarily a learning curve on my end, but kind of more of just an understanding of the differences between the two. I think, first off, Chevy's been awesome to me, and I'm also really excited to go transition back to Chevy next year with Haas factory team making the switch back to that. So that is exciting. But on the flip side, Ford has treated me so well, and honestly, they've done a fantastic job this season giving me the power with Roush Yates to kind of go out there and compete and run for wins. So like I said, that win at Iowa was really special because it was my first win with Ford, and everyone at Ford Performance. So it was really cool to be able to do that. But yeah, it definitely wasn't necessarily a learning thing, but it was just kind of understanding the differences and kind of feeling it out more than anything else. But like I said, they've done a great job this season, and we show up to the speedways and we're really fast, and that's where motor really matters. So they definitely do their job, and they get better each and every week as well. And I think going into the playoffs will be even better because a lot of the notes can open up, and we can definitely use stuff that we've learned from years past. So I'm definitely looking forward to continuing the playoff run with those guys.
Great insight. Appreciate those details. Turning to this year, you raced against both of your Haas factory teammates between the truck and the Xfinity Series past several years. Cole is back at the Cup level this year. Had Sheldon on the show after Watkins Glen. As a competitor, how has it been, the working relationship with Sheldon and comparing notes? It seems like it's been pretty good so far.
Yeah, Sheldon's awesome. And it's funny because, like, I was teammates with him back in the day at GMS for a while as well. So we have I guess some history as well, just kind of knowing each other and being around each other a lot. So the transition was super easy. Kind of coming to a new manufacturer at the same time. We were both learning on the fly, and we kind of leaned on each other to figure it out and push each other forward. But on the flip side, you want to kick their butts every week. So you keep some cards close to your chest, but at the end of the day, you try to elevate yourself and the team as much as you can. But yeah, Sheldon's an awesome teammate. I root for him each and every week. If we don't have the opportunity to go win, then I hope he has it in the bag for sure, because that first one would definitely be really special. But yeah, Sheldon's awesome, and Cole was really fun. He's kind of someone I never really talked to or I don't want to say knew about, but yeah, we just never had a lot of interaction. So being able to get around him and know him a lot more, and on a personal level as well as a professional level, has been a lot of fun. We've had a good time this season, and we've all kind of built each other up and pushed each other forward. So on all fronts, Haas Factory team is an amazing experience. The culture is awesome, and super proud to be a part of it, and also to say that I got them their first win. That's really cool.
100%. Sounds like a great team out there. Through this year, the 00 and yourself in the 41 have been really strong. You have 13 top 5 finishes. You were mentioning that win earlier in Iowa at the beginning of August. Sounds like that win meant a lot for you. How have you been able to use that to springboard into the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is just having a consistent season has been awesome. We've been in the top 5, if not the top 3 in points literally all year long. So just having that consistency and being able to bring speed to the racetrack every single weekend and always have a shot. It definitely means a lot to me to be able to do that. But to push ourselves into the playoffs with that win and the points and everything like that, it just elevates yourself and your team. Like, once you get that first win, it really takes a lot of weight off your shoulders. You can go out there and just freaking race and have a good time and then put all the days together to make a championship run. So we're in that mindset now that we're going for a championship, and honestly, there's nothing that can get in our way except for ourselves. So we're going to do everything we can, and we know to get to Phoenix, because with this playoff format right now, that's all you care about. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can do the rest of the season.
Sounds like you got the right mindset for sure. Moving into the recent on-track action, last time you were on track was 2 Fridays ago at Bristol. You qualified second, finished stage 1 fourth and stage 2 second. How were you managing the tire wear out there? Looked pretty crazy from the TV.
Yeah, certainly. Bristol is one of the craziest races of the year because you kind of never know what you're going to get. The Xfinity race is definitely a little bit more tame than the Cup race is. But it still is definitely very hectic because you're obviously going really hard trying to keep up with each other, but you're also trying to save that tire and make sure you have enough for the long run. We didn't have a whole lot of cautions during our race. The Cup race had a lot more cautions, so we almost had a little bit of a bigger job to make sure you can take care of it that long run. But like I said, we had a lot of speed each and every week, and Bristol was no different. We were in the top 3, top 5 all day, and came out with an awesome points day. And Bristol was just a ton of fun. It was awesome being being able to run around the bottom and the fence and kind of having a lot of moving around capability. That was definitely really cool. That's the Bristol we know and love for sure, is being able to kind of make passes and be efficient on the bottom. So it was cool to be able to see that for ourselves, and making a good points out of it too is very good.
Exciting to see guys battling in different lines for sure. Your team makes the decision to stay out after the caution on lap 263. You battle hard with Quapple, then Creed late, coming home, like you said, with the P3 finish. What more did you need to pass the 19?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we ended up getting some damage with the one. It's kind of put us in the wall a little bit, and it knocked the toe in and crushed some of the body panels that we had on the car. So it knocked some speed out of the car right there for sure. I think if that doesn't happen, we have a really good shot at getting to the 19. But I mean, for what we can control, we did everything we could. And Jason was awesome on top of the box that weekend, in particular, because he did make a great strategy call to stay out. We look back to seasons past, and the tire wears a lot, but once you give them time to cool off during the caution, it can actually kind of bring them back to life a little bit. And Noah Gragson was able to win in 2022 with like 90 lap tires. So it opens up the strategy book when you can kind of use that knowledge from years past. And we were able to do that and bring a great finish out of it. So just hats off to everybody on the team for bringing a fast car to be able to be up front to begin with, but to also everyone who's making the strategy calls. It definitely paid off in our favor. And I think if we didn't have the damage, we could have won the race.
Gotcha. Appreciate those specific details. Looking towards tomorrow in Kansas, where in 4 previous starts you have 3 top 15s, including 2 top 10s. How are you feeling for Kansas, with this also being a playoff race, as you said?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. This place in particular is so much fun. Just as a race car driver, being able to barrel it off into the corner and barely lift out of the gas, especially in qualifying, it's one of the best feelings that we kind of sign up for. But this place is a lot of fun on the long run. The tires wear out so much. The winters on this racetrack and the summers on it are so hot and cold that like it wears out the racetrack a lot. So it's a lot of fun to go out there and race each season. And it may look the same, like I said early in the show, but it could drive completely different, and you have no idea until you kind of get out there and feel it out. So looking forward to doing that Saturday morning. And yeah, I know our car's going to be really fast, that we can go out there and compete for a win, because a lot of similar racetracks that we've run at this season, such as Homestead and Charlotte, we're really fast at. So looking forward to seeing what we can do, and hopefully get in victory lane and move on to the next round in the playoffs.
Sounds like you'll be ready for the 1.5 miles tomorrow for sure. No secret, I mean, you've had success on the road courses throughout your career, with winning the last 2 years at the Roval in the playoffs. Have you had the Roval circled on your calendar?
Yeah, absolutely. The Roval is one that I've won at the last 2 seasons, and I definitely want to back that up. But I think that if we have a good weekend here in Kansas and have a really good cushion to the cutoff line, we can go out there and race for the win at the Roval, and that's truly what I want to do. So it's motivating me more to go out here at Kansas and have an excellent day, because if we can do that, a third trophy at the house would be very, very cool. But we're going to do whatever we have to do to make it to the next round of the playoffs. So if we have to go for points and maybe sacrifice a win, I'm still willing to do that for the team.
Gotcha. Seems like you're all in for sure. You made the championship 4 in Phoenix in 2023. How do you lean on that past playoff experience moving towards this year?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is knowing how the tracks react to spring versus summer. A lot of these rookies haven't been to these racetracks in the fall, and I have. So being able to kind of use that knowledge to see what the tracks, how different they are from spring to fall, is very important. But also the playoff run itself, and kind of understanding the pressure that you might be under, or even if you make it to the championship 4, the pressure you might be under there too. Since I've been there before, I don't feel any pressure. I just go out there and race and do the best that I can, and know that it's going to be enough. So the biggest thing is just going out there and understanding the pressure and being ready for whatever happens.
Awesome. really interesting details. Last question. You currently sit third in the playoff standings going to Kansas with 35 points to the good. You really seem super locked in and focused on winning a championship this year. What are some of the goals that you're focusing on each week to get you to that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, which is easier said than done, is just kind of keep doing what we're doing. I think we're tied for the most second top fives of everybody in the Xfinity field. So having that many top fives, and I think that's the most I've ever had in a season as well. That's really how you get to Phoenix, is just top five them to death. If you have an entire round in the round of 8 where you don't make any mistakes and you finish top 5 in every race, you're borderline guaranteed to make it to the Champ 4. So especially in our spot, since we're above the cut line and have kind of those playoff points to lean on, it's very important. So we're going to use that and get to the championship 4 and get there and win the thing, because someone has to win. It might as well be me.
Heck yeah. Seems like the entire 41 is locked in, and starting with you. So really do appreciate the time, Sam. Best of luck tomorrow out in Kansas, and hope to talk to you after Phoenix, all right?
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yep, have a good one. Thank you.
Great chat with Sam. Appreciate the insight from an Xfinity playoff driver. Hope he can make Phoenix. Now for discussions with Dave. Fantastic finish in Kansas. Hamlin versus Wallace. Several layers of this finish to pull back. As we went over in the recap, Hamlin and Bubba Wallace are racing their legit butts off in double overtime playoff race in Kansas. Final turn, they are side by side, pushing it to the limit, and Denny gets Bubba into the wall, and Chase is able to sneak by, and it gives Chevrolet the win. The Toyotas pretty much self-destruct between each other and can't finish at a mile and a half they have been very strong at in past years. As a fan watching on TV, I was jumping up and down, yelling at the TV. Most exciting finish of this year's playoffs so far. Driver versus driver, Hamlin against Wallace. That's just hard playoff racing. Each of them, as we mentioned, are going for the win. Now you look at the connections they have. Denny is a part owner of Bubba Wallace's car in 2311 Racing. The biggest thing is that Joe Gibbs, 2311, have a very strong partnership, and they're both Toyotas. With the moves that they make at the end, that allows Chevrolet and Chase Elliott to get the win. Toyota does not want that to happen. Post-race, Hamlin, Wallace, both interviewed. Definitely could see the frustration on both drivers' faces. Come their team meetings on Monday, I'm sure Coach Gibbs, Toyota executives were having their opinion and what to do moving forward. Truthfully, if put in that same situation again, I think we would get a very similar outcome. You just can't take a racer out of one of these drivers, and that's what they truly are. Of course, each Wallace and Hamlin would have wanted them to win, if not the other. Keep the win in Team Toyota. The Cup Series is the best stock car racing in the world, and that was shown last Sunday in Kansas. As we look towards the Roval, will this finish have any effect on if Bubba Wallace does not make the transfer into the round of 8, as he is now after Kansas minus 26 points? Now for the next topic on discussions with Dave. Will Shane Van Gisbergen be a playoff buster at the Roval? I strongly believe so. Even though Shane got eliminated in the round of 16, he will be a favorite at the road course in Charlotte Sunday. Guys won the last 4 road course races at the Cup level. Say what you want to say about Shane. He's getting better throughout this season, and that's evident in his finishes on an oval. Yes, he dropped the ball in the playoffs and dumped the first race in the Southern 500 and lost all of his cushion, and he didn't make the transfer. There's still one last road course race in the season, and that's this Sunday. He was 7th there last year. He won the qualifying. Final predictions at the end of the episode, but Shane will play a factor on Sunday. Moving right along, we talked about part of this topic last week, new crew chief with Kyle Busch. Last episode, we touched upon that Randall Burnett would be leaving Richard Childress Racing at the conclusion this season. He was the crew chief for Kyle Busch. It was then released that Burnett would be joining forces with Trackhouse Racing and be the crew chief for Connor Zilisch next year in the 99. RCR announced that beginning at the Roval, Andy Street would replace Burnett. Street has spent this season working with RCR's part-time efforts in the Cup and Xfinity Series. Not surprised of this move at all. Gives RCR more time to figure out their crew chief driver pairing for next year. As I said last week, really excited for the Randall Burnett Connor Zilisch pairing in the Cup Series for next year. Last two topics are rumors for next year's silly season in the Xfinity Series. It's a rumor that AJ Allmendinger, who will continue to drive full-time next year for Kaulig in the Cup Series, could be joining Junior Motorsports for a part-time schedule in Xfinity. Before jumping in the Kaulig Cup car full-time, AJ Allmendinger, as we know, was a force in the Xfinity Series, making the Final Four in Phoenix in previous years and racking up a number of wins. Chris Rice from Kaulig Racing announced earlier this year that AJ would not be in the Xfinity seat and only be focusing on their Cup Series effort in the 16th. I did kind of find that somewhat odd, as Kaulig's main motto is trophy hunting, and having AJ in one of their Xfinity cars on select road courses and ovals puts them in a pretty good spot to win races compared to, unfortunately, rookie drivers Daniel Dye, Christian Eckes. We do see Kaulig part ways with Josh Williams earlier this year, and Kaulig has pieced together different drivers to fill that 11 seat. The news that the Dinger would be in the Xfinity car for JRM next year isn't really too much of a head scratcher after it was announced that Kaulig would be having 5 full-time entries in the Truck Series next year with Ram. Looks like Xfinity will just be a 2-car effort for Kaulig. Maybe AJ makes some spot Truck Series starts next year. If AJ does in fact join forces with JRM next year, part-time Xfinity, the races he's in, he should be a contender. Last topic on discussions with Dave was rumored that Cope Family Racing, part-time Xfinity team, is likely to merge with Nitro Motorsports and switch to a Toyota Racing in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series in 2026 or 2027. Nitro Motorsports is the team that Brent Cruz runs his Truck Series team out of. Yes, Cruz has only made one Truck Series start under his own team, and Leland Honeyman and Thomas Annunziata have been putting together the driver lineup for Cope Family in their part-time Xfinity effort. Does this mean that Nitro Motorsports and possibly Brent Cruz Racing will be making starts in the Xfinity Series? We have seen how fast those Nitro Motorsports cars at the ARCA with that 70 car, Trayton Lapsovich rattles off a win earlier this year in the ARCA season. If Nitro and Cope do in fact join forces and you have a Nitro Motorsports car in the Xfinity Series, yes, of course, there's going to be a learning curve, but I truly think that that's going to be a good partnership. And if Cope Racing joins forces with Toyota as well, small pieces to the Xfinity puzzle for sure. But as a fan of this series, wanted to touch upon that. That wraps up this episode's edition of Discussions with Dave. Now for the Truck Series playoff breakdown and predictions for the Final Four. Charlotte is the first race of the round of 8 for the Truck Series, meaning it is the first time drivers have a chance to lock themselves into the championship race in the Final Four in Phoenix. After the smoke settled in New Hampshire, Chandler Smith and Jake Garcia are eliminated. Going into the Charlotte Roval, this is how the playoffs lays out. Corey Heim, plus 69. Lane Riggs, plus 22. Daniel Hemrick, plus 1. Ty Majeski sits at 0, but is above the cut line over Tyler Ankrum, who is on the wrong side looking in 5th. He is at 0-2, but Majeski has the tiebreaker over Ankrum. 6, Grant Enfinger, minus 3. Raja Caruth, minus 5. Caden Honeycutt, last but not least, minus 7. If you look at the standings right now, from 3rd to 8th, the drivers are separated by 8 points. After the Roval, there is sure going to be a shakedown in the standings. Hemrick all the way to Honeycutt are the drivers in what I'm calling the danger zone. Have a very strong feeling that Corey Heim is going to get a win in this round. And of course, with how strong he has been in the class of the Truck Series field this year, of course, he is going to be in the Final Four in Phoenix. Think the same for Lane Riggs, who's kind of been a step just below Heim. Not sure if Riggs can get a trophy in this round. He should have top 3, if not top 5 finishes in all 3 of these races and have no problem getting in. The next 4 drivers have had a lot of seat time throughout NASCAR. You look at Hemrick, and he's back in the Truck Series this year, but Xfinity Series champ, several years in the Cup Series. I think Hemrick, with his experience, gets that McAnally Higgleman truck, 19, into Phoenix. Ty Majeski and Tyler Ankrum have each been in the Truck Series for a hot second. And Ty, we know what he can do on a short track, and especially a late model. I really was flipping back and forth between if Ty Majeski or veteran Grant Enfinger is going to get that last spot. I think just with how Charlotte, Talladega, and Martinsville line up, I think the edge does go to Majeski. But say if a Raja Caruth, Enfinger, or Honeycutt, if one of them gets the surprise win in Talladega, that would put Majeski in a must-win scenario in Martinsville. So the 4 that I do think are going to make it to Phoenix: Heim, Riggs, Hemrick, Ty Majeski. We will see how the predictions hold up. We'll do them each episode until the championship. Same thing, Xfinity playoff breakdown, predictions for the round of 8. The Charlotte Roval marks the last race of the round of 12 for the Xfinity Series. In Las Vegas next weekend, they start the round of 8. After Kansas going into the Roval, Brandon Jones is locked in already with the win. Then you got Connor Zilisch, plus 105. He's in. Justin Allgaier, plus 68. He should be good. Sam Mayer, we were just talking to him, plus 43. He should be fine as well. Now the remaining 8 drivers are only separated by 30 points. Taylor Gray, plus 16. I believe he will be good. Sheldon Creed, plus 12. Has been better on the road courses. I think Sheldon gets in. And you got Carson Kvapil in the 1, plus 9. I think he will be fine as well. He's been really strong this year. If he can get a top 10, get some stage points, Carson should be good. Then you got Jesse Love, plus 5. The cutoff line, Nick Sanchez, minus 5. Austin Hill, minus 7. Harrison Burton, minus 8. Sammy Smith, minus 14. All the drivers that are on the outside of the cut line, they could genuinely each point their way in to the next round. Minus 14 with Smith, who is 12th right now, last in the standings. He could overcome that. Does, of course, need to hop over 4 other drivers to get his spot, but That's realistic. In the end, I believe Austin Hill in the 21 will bump out teammate Jesse Love. Think Love gets eliminated. Austin Hill, being a veteran, he's been strong on the road courses this year. Yes, he has that bonehead move at Watkins Glen that put the red flag out for a while. And thank gosh Michael McDowell was okay, but almost sent McDowell to the hospital. Hill learned from that, I believe. Not sure if Hill will have race-winning speed come Saturday. He should be in the top 5, and I think he gets that final and 8th spot to make the transfer. Now, Cup playoff breakdown predictions for the round of 8. As we know, Charlotte is the last race of the round of 12 for the Cup Series. 4 drivers will get eliminated moving into Las Vegas. Right now, Elliott and Blaney already locked in with wins. The drivers from 3rd to 7th are pretty good right now on points. You got Kyle Larson plus 54, Hamlin plus 48, Christopher Bell plus 44, William Byron plus 40, Chase Briscoe plus 21 in the 7th spot. Then sitting right now in the 8th and final spot is Joey Logano plus 13. On the outside looking in, currently in the 9th position, you have Ross Chastain minus 13, Bubba Wallace minus 26, Tyler Reddick minus 29, and Austin Cindric minus 28. Even though minus 26 and minus 29 for Wallace and Reddick mathematically don't need to win, but pretty much they're in must-win scenarios along with Austin Cindric. Ross Chastain minus 13 has a realistic chance to point his way in. Of the 3 drivers that isn't a must-win, I think Cindric does have the best chance of those 3. As the 8 sit right now, I think that's who's going to make the transfer. Elliott, Blaney, Larson, Hamlin, Bell, Byron, Briscoe. Joey Logano, we know what happened last year as we thought he got knocked out by Bowman. Don't think Joey lets it get that close this current year. Think Joey gets in that final 8th playoff spot into the round of 8. Now for the drivers to look out for in the ARCA season finale in Toledo. We start out with the 2 drivers top of the point standings. Brendan Butterbean Queen in the 28 has been the class of the field, winning 8 wins so far this year. Believe he'll have a great chance to get his 9th in Toledo. Then Lavar Scott in the Rev Racing number 2. The New Jersey native Scott has been so good this year. Unfortunately, hasn't gotten that win. He's been so close at some of these races. He's been especially strong at some of these short tracks they've been to throughout this year. Should be a factor in Toledo. Joe Gibbs, 18. Max Reeves. Reeves should give Queen the most competition for the win. Then we got Taylor Reif. Reif, the standout in the ARCA West Series, has been strong in the National Series this year. Typically, can't talk about ARCA without talking about Venturini. 55 of Isabella Robusto should be in the top 5. Then, of course, last but not least, the 15-year-old driving the 82, Tristan McKee. It's been a lot of news with McKee on the late model things as he was pushing people around in the big late model event in Martinsville. Can the youngster be up front? Now, drivers to look out for the Roval, starting with the trucks. Brent Cruz, we were talking about his own race team, but Cruz will be back in the 1 for Tricon Garage. If Cruz and team can keep it mistake-free, expect him to be in the top 5. Connor Zilich will be dipping his toes back into the truck series for Spire Motorsports. Believe him and Corey Heim should be duking it out. Another playoff driver after Heim is Daniel Hemrick in the McAnally Higgleman equipment driving the 19. I think the veteran in Hemrick should have a top 3, if not top 5 day. Lane Riggs should have a solid day in the Front Row Motorsports equipment. He's since right below Corey Heim in the playoff standings currently. Parker Kligerman is making the start in the 75 Henderson Motorsports Chevy. Parker's always fast on road courses. Last but not least, 98 Ty Majeski. Known for his skill on short tracks, Majeski has been showing out at the road courses this season. Now, drivers to look out for the Roval Xfinity, starting with the 88 Connor Zilisch. And with SVG not in this one, Zilisch is currently the favorite. Sam Mayer, we were just talking about him. He's won the last 2 playoff races at the Roval. Gonna be a contender in that 41. Harrison Burton in the 25 does need to have a good performance, if not the win, to have a sniff at the round of 8 in the playoffs. Can Harrison make that happen? Austin Hill has a slightly lesser hill to climb, no pun intended, compared to Harrison Burton. Think Austin Hill in the 21 has the best chance of the drivers on the wrong side looking in, as mentioned, to get himself out. William Sawalich in the Joe Gibbs 18, not in the playoffs, but expect William to be fast. Daniel Hemrick in the Colleague 11. Hemrick put on a solid performance in the trucks at Watkins Glen. Obviously, the trucks and Xfinity, talking to drivers this year, are drastically different vehicles. Expect Hemrick to have a top 10 day. Justin Allgaier, pretty much the second favorite behind Zilisch right now. Another JRM car, should be quick. Last but not least, we were talking about his teammate Sam Mayer. Sheldon Creed in the 00. Can he get into the top 5? Now, drivers to look out for: Cup Series, Roval. Austin Cindric. We were just talking about how low he is in the playoff standings. He needs a win to get into the round of 8. Minus 48. No chance he can point his way in. Not plausible. He is the best chance of the drivers on the outside looking in to score a win, in my opinion. I don't know if he will be able to do that. He was 4th last year. Kyle Larson won at the Roval last year. We know what he can do on road courses. Larson should be a contender. Same with Chase Elliott. Elliott was 5th at the Roval, has won at the Charlotte Roval previously. Ryan Blaney, same thing, has won at the Cup level at the Roval just like Elliott. Expect Blaney to be the fastest of the Team Penske cars. And yes, cannot talk about a road course at the Cup level this year without mentioning SVG. Shane is currently the favorite. Could hear on the radio of William Byron last week that he was not enjoying the setup of the 24 car. Think that's going to change for the Roval. He was 3rd last year. Expect the top 5 for him. Last but not least, AJ Allmendinger. The Dinger has won at the Roval previously for Colleague at the Cup Series. They will again be in the spotlight. Can AJ perform? Now for Fast Davey's bets, starting with the Truck Series. Top 5 for Daniel Hemrick is plus 400. Think there's great value in that one. Xfinity Austin Hill, plus 200 for a top 5, should be a solid pick. But folks, please don't get confused. There are 2 Austin Hills entered in the Xfinity race this weekend. Austin Hill is the guy you want to pick. Austin J. Hill, best of luck to him. Don't think he will be a contender though. Now, Cup Series, Fast Davey's bet. If something happens to Shane Van Gisbergen, Kyle Larson, who won last year, is plus 600 to be the top Chevy. William Byron is plus 900. Don't get me wrong, Shane Van Gisbergen is the standout favorite for this one. But from a betting perspective, great value in those picks if Shane falters. Now, for trivia answer time. This episode's question is, who won the first Cup Series race at the Roval in 2018? Hint, he has won a Cup Series playoff race this year. Answer is Ryan Blaney. Now, predictions for the weekend, starting with ARCA in Toledo. Brendan Butterbean Queen, believe he finishes the season off just like he started, on top with a win. Truck Series should be a battle between Corey Heim and Connor Zilisch. Think Heim starts off his championship try with a bang, being the first to lock himself into Phoenix. Xfinity, Zilisch should get the win in this one. He's my pick. Cup, think SVG learns from last year, plus his ovals have been improving. Think that will help that part of the track for him. And Shane plays playoff spoiler and nabs the win. As always, we're sponsored by Magical Travel with Dave, aka Disney Dave Weichert, my father. He'll be able to help you with all your Disney and Universal vacation needs. He can be reached at DisneyDaveW@Verizon.net. Please make sure you follow all the Splash of Gas social medias for midweek and on-track updates. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are all Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert. Hope everyone enjoys a cool fall weekend and has time to watch some of the races. Till next time, everybody, Splash of Gas out.